Before I get started on today's review, let's hear a few words from my sponsors. Okie dokie then, let's get started. Hello my friends, it's the Range Ronin once again. If you have been to my channel before, you know that I favor the 1911 pistol. I have carried one on and off for about 50 years with the venerable 45 ACP cartridge as my favorite loading. Recently, I have become more attuned, if you will, to the 40 Smith Wesson cartridge and have several pistols chambered in it. Primarily polymer frame pistols of the striker-fired variety. Attempting to find a 1911 chambered for the Smith & Wesson cartridge, however, has been frustrating. While 1911 pistols chambered for this caliber do exist, the availability of such is far and few between, with most being out of stock at numerous online distributors and retailers. Quite a few manufacturers have foregone manufacturing 40 Smith & Wesson chambered pistols in favor of the 9mm, since 9mm seems to be the cartridge of the day for whatever reason. Since I have a healthy investment in Armscore Rock Island Armory 1911 pistols in various calibers, I once again turn to them. The Rock Ultra lineup of pistols includes a 40 Smith & Wesson version, full-sized and all steel. In fact, this is the only 40 Smith & Wesson chambered 1911 in the Rock series of pistols. Given my experience with the Rock Island line, the Rock Ultra FS 1911 and 40 Smith & Wesson would fit in with my happy family of Ultra pistols chambered in 45 ACP, 9mm, and 10mm. My tried and true FFL Hilltop Pawn in Snellville, Georgia was able to locate one, and one was ordered. Note that this took some effort on their part, as out of all their resources, only one had this pistol available. So my friends, let me tell the story of this one Rock Island Armory 1911 FS Ultra chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson that has become a welcome member of my family. features of the Ultra line of Rock Island Armory pistols incorporate some advanced features not found with their standard line of 1911s, but with a few features that are standard on all pistols. The full-length guide rod is a feature on all RIA 1911-based pistols. Pros and cons of FLGRs have been debated until there is no sense in debating any longer. In my opinion, you either like them or not. FLGRs are pretty much standard on all pistols these days, captivated or not, metal or not, and having one in a 1911 does not sway me one way or the other. The Ultra 40 follows in the same vein as the Ultra FS10 and Ultra MS 45, and that all incorporate a bull barrel and FLGR. I will get into the FLGR later in the maintenance segment. The front end of the Ultra 40 is typical 1911, sans a guide rod bushing and barrel bushing. Is smooth and with no serrations, very clean and just the way it should be. Rather than a sloped and no-dot front sight, as with the standard models, the Ultra incorporates a red fiber front sight that is drift adjustable for windage and also replaceable, should one desire. The entire slide, up to the rear serrations, is devoid of markings and is something that I really like. The ejection port is the now common lowered and flared type that helps all of those extracted and ejected used-up shell casings to exit the premises. The extractor is internal, as John Moses Browning intended it to be. Rear vertically cut slide serrations aid in pulling or pushing the slide to the rear for loading, press checking, or closing the slide into battery on a chambered round or not. The rear sight is a fully adjustable for windage and elevation LPA and PS1 type. This sight is a 2 white dot unit with white outline markings for windage and an indicator for adjusting elevation. A sight of this type is very helpful when adjustments are needed for various bullet weights and types. The rear sight has no provision for combat racking of the slide, such as pressing the rear sight against a hard surface or even a heavy-duty belt. The hammer is the now popular roiled and skeletonized commander-style hammer and has enough serrated material to ensure a positive thumb hold when cocking or decocking the pistol. Just forward of that hammer, on the slide, is a nicely marked Rock Island Armory logo with cross cannons. This logo and position on the slide are welcome features, as it did away with the billboards of earlier models. I'll take you through the inside of the slide later in the maintenance segment. For now, let's talk about the frame. The frame, as does the slide, receives the black parkerized treatment and is well matched to the slide, but is of a slightly different hue. This is not uncommon, as slides and frames may be treated at different times, and treatment colors may differ due to differences in chemistry between lots. The slide to frame fit is excellent, with absolutely no play between the two. The rear of the pistol, where mating of the slide and frame can really be seen, reveals an almost seamless, and as Captain Jack Sparrow would say, marriage of assemblies. The left side of the frame is devoid of markings, while the right side contains the serial number and model designation. The right side part of the ambidextrous thumb safety is evident, and the lever is as wide and serrated as the left side, providing equal opportunity for lefty and righter shooter's thumbs. As I wrap around to the left side of the frame, the usual 1911 controls are present: the thumb safety lever, slide lock and takedown lever, and magazine lock and release button. The ambidextrous thumb safety is easily pressed into service, whether it be to safe or fire the pistol. The slide lock and takedown assembly is nicely integrated and has enough surface texture for the thumb of the shooting or support hand to manipulate. The plunger tube, in typical 1911 fashion, is a staked unit that contains a plunger tube spring, slide lock plunger, and safety catch plunger, both of which do their job well. Below the slide stop is usually where the trigger is found, and it is, nestled ever so nicely within the trigger guard, and which I'll take you to in a minute. The magazine button is in its normal left side only position, behind the trigger guard, and has enough height and texture for the thumb of the shooting hand, if you are a right-handed shooter, to activate. The magazine button works very well in holding a magazine in place and releasing it on demand. Within a nicely shaped but no overcut and spacious enough to accommodate a gloved hand trigger guard is a nicely shaped, squared, serrated, and skeletonized medium-length trigger with over-travel adjustment. After a short bit of free play, 1 pound and 15.5 ounces of pull will drop the hammer, assuming that the thumb and grip safeties are set for such. The rated trigger pull weight for Rock Island Armory 1911 pistols is 4 to 6 pounds, which places this trigger above average. The measured trigger pull weight was after a 5-pull average and is brand new out of the box. Trigger creep is minimal, and the break is crisp and with no indication of over-travel. This pistol, albeit more expensive than the standard model, has a trigger that is a rarity to find in a budget-priced 1911. Further use will only smooth it out more. But having a good trigger is about useless unless you have a proper grip and something to grip onto. So, let me get to that. Since the Ultra 40 is a full-size 1911, it has a full-size grip. The front strap and mainspring housing are both rated, while an excellent beaver tail grip safety keeps that fast-moving slide from harming the hand while shooting. A memory bump, as it is called, ensures a positive grip on the pistol when folks like me take a high hold on the grip and thumb ride the safety lever. The grip handles that come with the pistol are G10 types of what I call a medium texture to keep the hand in place. All of the Ultra models come with identical gray and black grip panels, which are cut on the right side to accommodate the Rock Island Armory type ambidextrous safety. The grip handles are affixed in place with appealing black torque screws. While I do appreciate these grip panels, I felt a change was needed to make this pistol stand out from my other Ultras. The grip handles were changed to a set of VZ 1911 Alien Burl full-size grips that have been cut internally for the Wilson Combat magwell extension, and also for the Rock Island Armory 1911 right side thumb safety lever. The stock Torx grip panel screws were reused, as they blend in well with the new grip panels. In addition, the flat mainspring housing has been exchanged for an arched mainspring housing by Ed Brown Products. The Alien Burl grip panels add a new look and feel to the pistol, as does the arched mainspring housing, as my hand conforms to it better than a flat mainspring housing. The standard grip, with regard to angle, width, and length, makes it a natural fit and pointer in most people's hands. To sum up the features, the Ultra 40 is a full-size, full-weight 1911 base pistol that has a foundation established in 1911, with the M1911 being adopted by the U.S. Army as the primary personal firearm for troops. The looks say all business, while the features cater to those who prefer modern conveniences like an ambidextrous thumb safety, beaver tail grip safety, and a better-than-stock sighting system, and also controls that can be easily reached and manipulated. Now that the Ultra 40 has all I need and desire in a 1911, will it shoot with accuracy and reliability? We'll see about that. First, I need to get it prepped for the range. That means an initial cleaning, inspection, lubrication, and full function check. And I am ready to get to that right now. Suffice it to say that I have some experience shooting Rock Island Armory 1911 pistols in 9mm, 10mm, and 45 ACP chamberings. This will be, however, my first day with the Ultra FS in 40 Smith & Wesson chambering. Having shot the 40 in my polymer frame striker-fired pistols, I knew somewhat to expect, given that the Ultra FS is a full-size, all-steel 1911 with a fully loaded weight of 3 pounds 0.2 ounces, over, say, the 2 pounds 0.3 ounces of my fully loaded Glock G22. I will concede that the G22 has almost twice the capacity of the FS40, at 15 rounds over the 8 rounds that I am stoking the Ultra 40 with, but the majority of the Ultra 40's weight is not in ammunition, but with the pistol itself. I will also concede that the polymer frame of the Glock will absorb some of that recoil, as the tendency of an all-steel handgun will transmit and transfer that recoil fully into the hand. But will it matter? I'll let you know. So, what can be expected? Maybe less felt recoil, muzzle rise, a better trigger break? The latter is a definite. The former? Well, we'll see about that. Let's pick up with the shooting, and I'll let you know as I move along with this first range session with the Ultra 40. And, by the way, since the Ultra 40 only comes with one magazine, 3 more were ordered, received, and fill my need for 2 as backups and 1 for a spare. All are being tested in this session. As you well know by now, the Rock Island Armory 1911 FS-40 is a full-size, full-weight 1911. Albeit being one of the slimmest pistols in its class, it does take some effort to effectively conceal the darn thing. But it is concealable, if I, or you, do our parts. That means the right clothing, gun belt, and holster, all of which determines the success of our concealment efforts. In cool to cold weather, I do favor a shoulder holster, and the Felco rotor shoulder holster system just works for me. For strong side IWB carry, I have the Felco A112 Hawk holster. Accompanied by a good set of suspenders that keeps the pants above my butt crack, the Ultra is carried tight into the body and just behind my hip bone. Cross-draw carry is becoming one of my favorites, and for IWB, there is the Alien Gear Cloak Tuck 3.5 that is set up for that carry position, while for OWB carry, there is the Craft 4015 Talon cross-draw holster. If you decide to carry such a pistol as any full-size, full-weight 1911, please do your own research to come up with a viable means to transport the pistol on the body. Now, let me get to my final thoughts on the Rock Island Armory 1911 FS-40. Starting out with my final thoughts, the Rock Island Armory 1911 FS Ultra in 40 Smith Wesson chambering is a full-size, full-weight handgun that will not only fill your hand, but any holster it is placed into. It weighs nearly 1 pound heavier, fully loaded, than a fully loaded Glock G22. There is also the 8+1 capacity versus the 15+1 capacity of the G22. Why would anyone in their right mind want a 1911 chambered in 40 Smith & Wesson with less capacity and greater weight than a comparable polymer pistol? It is kind of hard to justify, isn't it? Well, I am not even going to try and justify it. My purpose for the Ultra 40 was to see how it would stack up against other nearly identical pistols in the Ultra family, such as my Ultra FS-45, MS-45, CS-45, FS-9, and FS-10. Did it handle as well as the others? Did it perform as well as the others? How about reliability? The Ultra FS-40 has a very good sighting system, an excellent trigger, 1911 ergonomics, and a foundation that has been proven battle-capable over many generations. To reiterate the purpose of this pistol, it is intended for personal protection and recreational shooting. In my opinion, it will do both very well. So, let's say I close this chapter of the Range Running Chronicles pistol series. Hopefully, we will meet again soon, and until that time, be vigilant, be armed, and be safe out there.